Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to just put on my phone. Hold on a second. Oh, I don't have my phone. Shirt. Okay. Hey, Zach. Hold on a second. Zach, can you go on my channel, make sure my live stream's going okay? Just go to Dean Wolfe channel and go to the live. Click the live sidebar, whatever. Okay, so this is the first time I've used StreamYard, and I got to tell you, it's much easier to use than the other one I used. So I have a good feeling about it, and this is our first experience with StreamYard. And I have two guests, but one of them had to, unfortunately, bow out at the last minute due to a family situation. He had to actually fly somewhere. So hopefully everything's okay. That's Louis, who's been a long time supporter with the family. And then, of course, I've got Jen. So Jen's here. Let me just put Jen on the screen. Jen.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to this live stream, and thanks for being my guest. And of course, the theme of the show is memorable music experiences. And I got 3 or 4 that came to mind. Jen, how many did you think of?
Same, about 3 or 4, maybe 5 if I stretch it.
Good. Now I'm going to go to, let's see the comments. I'm trying to get the live comments here, how it works. Okay, show. So we got Floor 2 Records here. Hey, Floor 2 Records.
Hello.
And Floor 2 Records is hearing. Okay, so another note, just so you know, this live stream will be a regular feature on the channel. And so I'm not sure exactly. I'm going to announce it several days ahead of time. So you'll have a chance to make sure you can tune in. You can go to the channel and there's a little icon you click on and it notifies you. If you want to be notified when it goes live, that'll happen. So I imagine as we do this more regularly and include lots of different guests, it'll probably grow in numbers. Right now we've only got 3, but that's fine. I'll be happy if there's 5 or 6. You know, we're just getting rolling. That's fine. That's great. Welcome to Floor 2 Records. So, how was your week, Jen?
Busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got 2 jobs now, so it's taken up a lot of my time.
Wow. Yeah. Are they 2 part-time jobs kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I've said before I'm a medical interpreter, but that's just as needed. You know, it's a contract job. So my workload basically depends on how many Chinese people in the area need to see doctors.
Right.
Sometimes it gets pretty slow, but recently my boyfriend started up his own dental lab, and he needed somebody to do admin, secretarial, clerical, billing, also a driver to deliver and pick up cases. And so I just took that on because I want to help him get up off the ground with this lab. And we didn't anticipate the number of dentists that left the company that he had been working at and went with him. And so, yeah, we're really overloaded. But I guess, you know, of all the problems you can have with a startup, having too much work is kind of a good problem, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now let's get to our topic, which is, of course,
memorable musical experiences.
Yes, memorable music experiences. And also, of course, we want to encourage our listeners to make a comment on, encourage you to make a comment on your own memorable experiences.
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Okay, yeah. So you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll go first if you want. I'll tell you the story about the time Engelbert Humperdinck held my hand and sang to me.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but my boyfriend was a huge fan of Engelbert Humperdinck all through like the 80s and 90s. He shared that with his mom, and they used to go to concerts all the time. And so when we started dating, he introduced me. Well, it was kind of a reintroduction because I knew who Engelbert Humperdinck was, and I'd heard some of his music before, but I'd never been to a show. So we went to a show, and I actually really enjoyed it. He's quite a crooner. But the second show we went to, it was actually on his birthday, or like maybe the day after his 75th birthday. So it was kind of a big deal, and he talked a little bit about it on stage. And um, my boyfriend Brent wanted to like. There's a tradition at Engelbert shows where people would throw flowers up on the stage, or back in his heyday, women would throw panties up on the stage. You know, I mean, it got kind of crazy with the female fans back in the heyday. But he wanted to do something really nice. So we got a dozen long stem red roses before the show and took them into the show. And originally it was going to be Brent who went up to the front row and handed the flowers to him, but he chickened out at the last minute. He was like, I can't do it, I can't do it. So I was like, give me those, I'll go up there. And so I took this bouquet of flowers and I made my way up to the front row and kind of cut across the first row of people, but they saw me with the flowers and they were all like, oh yeah, go get, here's some room, get up there. So right in the front row, right up against the stage in the very center, he was singing After the Lovin'. Do you know that song?
What's it called?
After the Lovin'. So
probably if I heard it, I might recognize it.
After the lovin', with a song that I wrote yesterday. Oh, it's kind of a sexy song. But anyway, so it's my favorite song. So I took that opportunity to go up there and I handed him the flowers. He bent down to get the flowers. He grabbed him and he set him aside. He's got the mic in one hand. With the other hand, he reached out and grabbed my outstretched hand. And I just thought that he was going to shake my hand and that'll be it. And so I started to kind of scoot past the people's knees in the front row and make my exit. But he grabbed on. And his grip was so strong. I actually almost tripped and fell because I wasn't expecting the resistance, but he grabbed on and he just sang After the Love. And he looked right in my eyes. And it was
nice.
It was such a surreal experience. I fangirled out a little bit. But he held my hand for a good 30 seconds. And when he finally let go, I was just like, oh my God. I wanted to sit down immediately, but I couldn't. I had to like walk on these shaky legs back to where my seat was. But that was definitely one of my most memorable musical experiences for sure. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And it's such a cool thing because he's 80 something now, 81 maybe. Oh, hey, Louie. There he is. Hey guys, my sincere apologies. Next time I will be ready, I promise. Louie, it's okay.
There'll be another time. We'll get you in the next one, Louie.
Yeah.
Well, Engelbert. I mean, obviously, I've heard of him, and I probably heard his music, but he's never been an artist that I've sought out. But I understand that. Obviously, he's a talented guy and a revered singer, and that's really cool. So I'll go now. One of my musical experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is sort of open for interpretation, right? The whole idea, what are your musical experiences? Because it's a wide amount of ideas you could think of. One of them I thought of was in the early 1980s when U2 was huge, like Joshua Tree was out, they were playing stadiums, they were all over the radio. I had a neighbor in London, Ontario, who went and saw them at, I think it was called Sky Dome at the time, a huge place, and he got called up on stage. They were trying to get someone out of the audience to play a song, and he was a musician. He said somebody went before him, and then they put a guitar on him, and he didn't know how to play. So they kicked him off the stage, and then he said, "I know how to play. I know how to play." Or I don't know. Yeah, I think it was guitar or bass, whatever. So he went up on the stage, played a song with them, and of course, this is his dream, right? He's just living the dream. And then not only that, they put him on the side of the stage, and he goes out with them for the night with the band, U2, in a big limousine. They drive to a restaurant. He's out at a bar drinking, talking with them till like 4 or 6 in the morning.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, then they send him home in a nice not a cab, but something nicer. You know, a nice limo. So he gets delivered home the next day in a limo, and so he's my neighbor, right? So he's a musical guy. So I just like having that connection. It made me feel one step removed from you too. And then on top of that, he made a demo tape where he just put a bass line down, nothing but a bass line. So he gave me the tape. I started layering up, and I made this huge, magnificent piece of music based on his bass line, and I gave it to him, and he's really happy about that.
Oh,
So
cool.
for me, that was a pretty exciting experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a question for you, actually.
Uh-huh.
If it had been you at that U2 concert and they were grabbing people to go up on stage, would you have done it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
sure.
God. I think I would have been too scared.
Oh, that would have been pretty amazing. Yeah. Well, I mean, let me see. How old was I at that time? I was in my I was 18 or 19 or something. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been on stage already. There's another experience I'll share. Maybe we'll let you go next, but I was performing on stage full time as a musician when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have been comfortable on a stage. Yeah.
In a stadium?
Well, a stadium, that's true. I mean, obviously it would have been pretty overwhelming. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a level up.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So, what's your second musical experience? Memorable music experience?
Okay, this one's a little weird, but my dad is a trumpet player. And throughout the years, he's been a member of various jazz bands locally, and some that were not international, but transnational. Like guys from different states would get together and play a gig at a jazz festival up in Detroit at the Detroit Marina. And my dad invited me back in, I want to say, gosh, 2003 or four, maybe. He invited me to come up there to the Detroit Marina. We were staying on a friend's boat, and they were going to play a couple shows that weekend, like a Friday and a Saturday show or something. Anyway, in the car on the way up there, he was listening to listening to recordings of some of the standards, some of the songs that they were going to play, just in preparation. And one of them was All of Me. And I, just as a joke in the car on the way up, was singing the words to All of Me in like the style of Ethel Merman. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's got this thick accent. So I was just goofing around and singing All of Me, why not take all of me? And he was like, you sound great, you want to sing with us? I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You want me to sing in my regular voice, right? Because at the time I was I had just graduated college, and I had been in the Illini women's choir at the University of Illinois. So I still had the pipe. I don't have the pipes anymore. But I did back then. I was still warmed up, I guess. But he was like, yeah, I mean, you're a singer. You could sing with us. And so I was like, you want me to use my regular voice, right? And he said, no, do it like Ethel Merman. You sound amazing. And so for the rest of the drive up there, which is, like a 6-hour car ride, we were playing the song over and over again so I could memorize the lyrics, and I was refining the accent. But anyway, so that's the story. Basically, we get up to the Detroit Marina, and there are several different jazz bands that play that weekend at that like jazz fest. And we told the guys in his band that I was going to sing. Originally, they didn't have any singers. It was just going to be an instrumental. And so they made adjustments, to have a singer along. And I got up on stage and I did it. I sang the whole thing like Ethel Merman. And the audience really liked it. They
Cool.
loved it. I mean, so random, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that time that I sang at the Jazz Fest, the Detroit Marina Jazz Fest, as Ethel Merman, All of Me.
Well, you could put that on your resume, yeah, if you're gonna.
Yeah, my resume.
Things you've done, sang at a jazz festival. That'll give you some cred.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my street cred. It was my dad's band though, so
Yeah.
it's not like they hired me or I got paid or
Uh,
anything. It was just
yeah.
a goof,
Yeah.
really. But it
Yeah.
ended up going over pretty well. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool because Janine, my wife, she her dad is he plays trombone in big bands. He's been doing it since the 40s. He's what
oh
he's over
wow.
80 now and he's still performing with big bands.
That's amazing.
Yeah, music keeps you alive.
Mhm.
So now another musical experience. By the way, anyone out there, go ahead and share your experiences, musical experiences, something memorable in the comments. My next experience was just a kind of I don't know, it just came to mind. As I said, I had a band. I was in a band from age 17, and I was actually a full-time musician for about almost 2 years, starting at 17. And I was kind of all hot shot, at first. I had a bit of an ego. I thought I was like, the hottest thing on the planet, kind of Mr. Special. And, but I got dressed down in this one experience. I was in a club and I had an outfit. I figured it out. I went to a store, kind of figured out an outfit. I wear black pants, white dress shirt that's for bow ties. So it just has this little tiny thing sticking out. And then I bought a colorful, no, it was a black bow tie, just an old black bow tie. So this is my look, right? Uh, so anyways, I came off a stage after one of the sets and walked strutting around, thinking everyone's looking at me. They think I'm all so great. And then somebody pointed out, your zipper's down. And of course I looked down, and of course being black pants and white shirt, the white shirt was just, spilling out. And to me, it was so embarrassing. I think it's hilarious now, but it was a good thing to dress me down in my ego there a little bit. That was a good one.
Oh, that's hilarious. Strutting around.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
You
And
know,
then
when I was, go ahead.
there was one more thing. I just remembered it too. When I was playing a solo, and for some reason, drool just came out of my mouth onto my guitar. I don't know. It's just one of those weird incidents that you remember. Embarrassing things.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe I was thirsty or something. I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh. I was gonna add like a couple other memorable musical experiences of mine. I've actually told you before, and I think it was in previous videos that we've done. I told you about the time that I met Wheel, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I think I even sent you pictures, and you maybe showed a couple on screen.
yeah,
Um, but that was incredibly memorable. I think maybe the second video that we did, that concert review,
yeah.
theirs was one of the concerts that I saw, and I think at the very beginning of that video, you have a clip of me going, "You guys make killer music," and that was such an honor to get to meet them and tell them that. I don't know how much feedback they get, probably a lot from fans, but just to add my voice in there to the appreciative crowds, and just let them know in person, to their faces, shake their hands, and tell them you're awesome. Was pretty cool. Um, I going over this, in my head in preparation for this, I was thinking about maybe some of the other concert experiences that I've had, and if I got to meet any other bands, and I don't think I have. Back when I was a kid in high school, I got to, well, here's actually, this is kind of a memorable experience. I don't know how much it has to do with the music, but in high school, I had the opportunity to see Primus, and
Oh, cool.
there were some girls that were friends of mine in my class that we all got tickets to. And they decided, since I had a car, I was going to be the driver. And this one girl, I didn't know her super super well, but they all came to my house early, and she ended up dropping acid in my mom's bathroom. And she didn't tell us until we were in the car on the way to the show. She's like, "Guess what I did?" and we're high school kids. We weren't that hardcore. Like the closest I'd come to doing anything sketchy like that was I'd had a cigarette. I'd drank some friend's mom's peach schnapps, ooh. But this kid, she had a pear on her. Um, and by the time we got to the show, she made it really, really hard for us to just enjoy the show because she started freaking out. And
Mhm.
she started looking for her mom and saying like her mom was there and she was crying. And I felt responsible for her since number one, she'd done it at my house. And number two, I was responsible for getting her home since I was driving. And so we ended up leaving the concert early. There were four of us. And me and the other two girls were just horrified. We couldn't believe what she had done. And we had to babysit her the whole time. So I missed out on seeing Primus in the 90s because of this girl.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I heard after high school that she had gotten in trouble. Just, she fell in with the wrong crowd doing some other dumb stuff. And I just thought, I saw it coming. But that just goes to show you that sometimes doing drugs and going to a show is not the best way to enjoy the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
we had to leave the concert early, I've always remembered that as like I missed my shot to see a full Primus show.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I make it another opportunity. They are playing in Chicago with, get this, Pussifer and A Perfect Circle. The
Nice.
three of them. It's called like Sasanta or something.
Uh-huh.
They've each released a new song to go with this tour that they're on, and they're calling it Sasanta. So I may end up getting tickets to that and getting to see Primus after all,
Nice.
along with A Perfect Circle and Pussifer, Maynard's other two bands, other than
Yeah.
Tool.
Yeah.
So maybe
So
I'll
he's
get
going
to
to
do
be
that.
in both of them, right? He'll be appearing in both bands.
Yeah, so he's going to be doing double duty singing.
Interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
double duty. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it should be a hell of a show. So I'm excited
yeah.
about maybe getting to go see that.
Awesome. That'll be
Mhm.
great. Yeah, let me know how that is. Um, my other, I'll say my last musical experience was my very first concert. I think a lot of us, probably remember your first concert, like your first real concert, like a
Mine was Hanson.
Hanson.
I was
Oh,
so young.
okay.
I was like 12. So
Yeah, not they haven't stood the test of time so strongly, have they?
no.
That's too bad. My first band, I went to see them with. I took my friends, my brother, my brother's friends, the whole gang of us went and saw it. With my first concert was Saga, and that was 1981. And I'm sure you remember on the what's the big hit?
On the
Wind
loose?
'em up, or
No.
on the loose?
No, no,
No,
no, no. I'm thinking
Wind 'em up.
yeah.
Wind 'em up was the big hit. I think they've had
Mhm.
several hits, and they were very popular on MTV, and they were huge in Europe. And they're actually from where I grew up near Toronto,
Mhm.
Canada. But for some reason, they just blew up in some other countries. Canada, they were successful, not the kinds of crowds or anything. But I really treasure that. And then coming full circles, I just interviewed Ian Crichton, who's the guitarist in Saga.
I know.
I
How
just
cool
did
is that?
that a couple of weeks ago. So that sort of brought it full circle, and I
Mhm.
sort of realized, oh, this is interesting. Here I went from sitting on just watch a concert. Little did I know, like 40 years later or whatever it was, I'd be interviewing Ian on
You
YouTube.
made it. You're big time now, Dean.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I think the nicest thing about it though is when you meet your heroes and they're nice.
Oh yeah.
Because Ian was totally down to earth. I didn't feel the slight bit of intimidation,
Mhm.
or he wasn't kind of looking down at me or anything because I'm just a
Yeah.
YouTuber or whatever. Just totally on the level. And compared to when I met Steve Howe, he was my huge hero. Of course, he played with Yes and
Yeah.
Asia, and then I was so intimidated. Unfortunately, it just sort of ruined the whole experience. I don't remember it very fondly at all. I just feel embarrassed that I kind of blew my chance. I don't know. I could have asked him some cool questions, but instead I was just so nervous. And so that's too bad when you get nervous and in front of people. It sort of spoils the experience.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta hang loose.
Yeah.
Everybody's a human being, even mega stars. They're still humans, you know.
Yeah.
They put
Yeah.
their pants on one leg at a time, just like we
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
do.
I think nowadays that's easier to understand though, because back in those days, it was a total mystery what your favorite rock stars, how their life was. You know, all
There
you
were,
knew was the concert, the TV, all
right.
this flashy stuff, maybe of behind the scenes photos, and now they're tweeting all the time. They'll tweet about, oh, I'm here, I'm there, I'm having dinner. Here's my dinner plate. So you can feel right connected and sort of understand how they're just living, like you say, putting one leg and one pant at a time, kind of thing. And
Yeah, that degree of separation is that gap is being bridged pretty quickly with social media.
yeah,
I mean, when when you don't know anything about like where a star lives or who they're dating or if they're married, if they have kids, what they do in their spare time, there you tend to fill in the blanks with extraordinary things they must be doing. And it builds them up, puts them on a pedestal. But then, then you've got people now like doing Instagrams from their hot tub, talking about politics, and you're like, oh, well,
yeah.
okay.
Oh,
That's how they
I'm
feel
glad,
about that.
I'm glad you brought up politics, because I've found that with this channel, whenever I delved into politics, which is very, very rarely, I think on my Twitter I did a bit, and then I made a video too that could have been seen as political, and some people loved it.
Mhm.
Others just said, "Oh, I'm not watching your channel anymore," And then I thought, oh, if if
Yeah.
my favorite rock star started spouting about politics, um, it would turn me off probably. And I
Mhm.
realized that,
And a lot of
you know
them
what?
do now.
Yeah, yeah, but there are plenty that keep quiet actually, but
Yeah.
some get loud about it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think it serves the fan. I just think politics and music, unless it's your shtick, unless that's what you do. I'm a political musician. Great,
Right.
because there are always some.
Hmm.
But if that's not your thing, I don't think you should mix it, and that's why I don't mix the YouTube now with politics.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a powder keg, really,
Yeah.
because you never know how your viewership is going to react
Mhm,
to your
mhm,
particular brand of,
mhm,
views, political views.
mhm.
I like to kind of stay apolitical as well, like, with people I work with. And it's just not the
Yeah.
place, not the
Mhm.
place. Because it can
And it
definitely
doesn't
leave a
and it
bad taste in your mouth.
exactly, yeah, like U2 has a song, Bona saying, "Did I leave a bad taste in your mouth?" And
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
he's a classic example of exactly that's what he did. To me, he just put his foot in his mouth. I
So many times.
totally I just lost interest in U2, and it put a bad taste in my mouth about U2 because he's so political.
That's exactly
And
what ruined them for me, too.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
so um yeah, so politics and music don't mix so well,
Mm-mm.
unless it's your shtick, and that's what you do. For example, the Pink Floyd, um, what's his name? The guy in Pink Floyd who quit Pink Floyd for a bunch of years. I think he's still not with Pink Floyd, but he's very political. But that's what he does. You kind of expect that, and obviously he enjoys it. He's not upset or at all when he offends people. He doesn't care if he offends people. So that's his thing, and he's in a privileged place to do that anyways, though,
Yeah,
you
you
know?
got to have thick skin, too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I covered my musical experiences. Were there any others that you wanted to talk about?
That I have one more, and you're part of it, actually.
Oh, okay.
One of the coolest interactions that I've ever had with a band was with Obsidian Tide when I was trying to get you your birthday present. Um, the album, their debut album, Pillars of Creation. I wanted to get it for you on LP. and they were sold out worldwide on all their platforms. I couldn't find any. Yep, that's it right there behind you. Have you listened to it yet?
No, because I want to do a reaction.
Oh, good, good.
So you
I
can
can't
see the
wait for that.
signatures,
Yep, this
signed
right
album.
here, that is the only signed LP of their debut album in existence in the world. And the reason that you have it is because I went out on a limb and I said, well, I can't find this LP anywhere. I'm going to email the band. So I did. I emailed him, and the bassist answered immediately. And he was like, I might be able to hook you up. And I said, okay, that's great. And he said their shipment of LPs that they were going to tour with, you know, to do their merch, got hung up before the war started in Belgium. And so he didn't have access to any of it.
Oh,
And he said that he would give his personal copy to you.
wow.
And then he was thinking, well, since it's here in Israel with us, we could sign it. And I was like, would you? Oh my God. He said, we've never done that before. We don't have any signed LPs. So this would be the only one in the world. And I thought, how freaking special. Oh my gosh. I get to give this to Dean. He's going to love it. And I know when you do the react, when you listen to the album, you're going to love the music too. But at the same time, as I was getting this for you, I was ordering from their Bandcamp their new album, which is out on CD. And when I received my CD in the mail, it came with a note from the bassist, and it's one of the coolest things, that like pieces of memorabilia that I've got. It says, "Hey Jen, thanks for all of your support. You're absolutely the best. Heart. Enjoy the CD and keep being awesome. Power fist, Lo Sachar."
Nice.
So I just, you know, I'll keep this with my CD, keep it in the liner notes. But that was a pretty cool musical experience, getting you hooked up with that LP and getting to meet, at least not in person, but online, getting to meet over the internet the bassist for Obsidian Tide. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, I look very forward to it, because I did look up I looked at their website or whatever, and they referenced a few call outs in different magazines, and they were voted, all the musicians in the band are really top form, because a lot of them got voted as best drummer, best bassist for certain years, or at least nominated
Yes.
in Prog magazine or something like that. So
they are stellar. They're amazing.
yeah. And another thing that blows my mind is the fact that I'm doing so many reactions now for almost 4 years. I've been doing this, and still discovering bands like Obsidian I haven't heard of before. So it's just, there are literally, you know, hundreds and hundreds of bands. Literally, I never would have thought there were so many bands.
Aki H, hi.
Where's Aki? Hey, Aki's there. All right.
Hey, my dude. How's it hanging in Japan?
Yeah, how's things over there in Japan?
Oh, Aki, do you have a memorable musical experience you want to share with us?
Yeah, like your first concert, or
when you get to meet a band.
Yeah, meet a band member.
Or something embarrassing too. We love embarrassing stories.
Sure. Sure, your fly is down or something. You meet the queen, anything.
Yeah, or you sound like Ethel Merman, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
And also, it's pretty neat that you're fluent in Chinese.
Oh,
obviously, you weren't born in China, were you? I mean,
no.
This was something later in life.
I was born in Springfield, Illinois.
Right. So how many people do you know in Springfield that speak fluent Chinese that are not Chinese?
None.
Yeah.
No, it's just me.
It's such a, is it as difficult a language as it looks like it is?
At first, yeah, definitely. When you're trying to get the tones, especially, and there's some tricky pronunciation. But once you get like the tones and the pronunciation down, then you just start word building. The grammar is fairly easy, actually. There are a couple of things that are different from English that once you learn the grammatical structures, you can just plug stuff in, and it works in pretty much across the board in all situations. It's a very logical language, and so that's part of the reason why I think I was drawn to it, and why I ended up being successful in learning it, because I have I'm a logical thinker, which doesn't really go along with creativity a lot, but I also think of myself as a pretty creative person. And so that drew me to the calligraphy, the writing. The script in Chinese, of course, is beautiful. And getting handwriting down is probably the hardest part for me still, is writing by hand. Um, but yeah, if you practice, you eventually plateau and it doesn't get any more difficult. Like you plateau and you're just taking in new information and the difficulty level stays the same.
Well, I have an in-law who's from Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother's traveled to China 4 or 5 times now since they've been married, and I've never been. I'd love to go, just to immerse myself in the culture and just um, get a taste for what it's like to live there. Obviously, it's a politically very challenging place to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right now, especially.
yeah, right now it's getting really crazy, and yeah. So Aki, did you have a memorable experience? Just type it in. I know there's a bit of a delay here because when we talk, it's probably I don't know, half a minute or something before it comes on to the YouTube. So,
Oh, really? That long?
well, let me see. I'm just going to check my live feed here. Oh yeah, it's at least a half a minute or so. You're still talking right now there.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, I think we'll end this broadcast. And I know we had a sub theme, but I thought this theme would be enough to keep the show going. Our memorable
Oh,
experiences.
yeah. The sub
We were going
theme.
to say
Yeah.
your favorite video from my channel. If anyone had a favorite, I don't know if anyone has favorites like in that way. It's
Oh,
because
I do, definitely.
you see so many over the years. So okay, what's yours?
I have two that are tied for first. One of them is one of the very first videos that you did, your first tool react. That was to Lateralis, correct?
Lateralis, yes.
And I
Yes,
think
yes.
you had a very emotional response to it. And that, sir, got you a subscriber. That's when I was like, oh, this guy's got something. He feels the emotions intended in the music, and you can see him react in real time to songs that are like dear to your heart. So yeah, you won me with that one. And my second, what's tied for first place, is that Swans react in your car where you got all heated talking about the music industry. And you're like, ah.
Yeah.
That
And you
was
know what?
react.
I just what a coincidence, because I was just reviewing some of my old Swans videos and I found the one where I was making those comments.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I do now is I'm taking old videos, cutting them into shorts so someone can get a sense of my reaction in 1 minute.
Mm.
And I'm going to do some Swans because I haven't done that yet with Swans. And I came across that video in the car. And yeah, that was a key moment there. I agree with you too. That would have been one of my favorites. And same with me too. Lateralis was one of my favorites, even though it's tears and all that. It's still one of my favorite videos on the channel because it was so sincere. And it wasn't even just the music. It was the music, of course, but it was sort of the whole experience of being on YouTube and sort of coming back to prog rock, which I thought was dead and gone. I didn't realize it was so live, and all these bands I never really thought I would like, I ended up really loving. And so it was kind of emotional in many ways and many levels. Floor 2 Records, he says the Beatle Breakdown was one of his favorites. So that was a day in the life, I think. A
Okay.
Day in the Life. I did a Beatles breakdown, and then he said, "What else is that?" Yeah, the Tool reaction.
Oh, No Quarter. Yeah, you
Oh,
did
No
No Quarter.
Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That was a popular one. Yeah, yeah. Aki, are you still there? Tell, do you have a favorite video? I mean, it could probably be when I reacted to something he chose for me to react to because there's some
Those are my
great
other
music.
favorites of yours. The
Yeah.
Richelieu ones that you did.
Oh yeah, Richelieu. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I really liked. I know I don't think it's on YouTube because of copyright issues, but the one from Haken, you did the full Messiah Complex
Okay.
react. That was another really awesome react video from you. And
Thanks.
you've done some other great ones to Bandmade. I mean, I'm not personally a fan of Bandmade. I mean, you know, if they're on, I don't object, but um, some of you just got so exuberantly joyous. You know, you were just so impressed and pleased with these ladies that, you know, I was just kind of like, yeah, girl power.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of it too, is the fact that they're girls, and we're I've grown up, and whenever there were girl bands, it was always an exception. It's like, oh, here's an old girl band. It's sort of like an exception,
Hmm.
whereas it's the norm in Japan. And as much as I love prog, I also still love just straight out hard rock, and they're a great example of current musicians who are making
Yeah.
straight out great hard rock music, which is
And the
uh,
warning too.
and the warning. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of great bands. There's another band I'm going to react to an interview. Actually, they're from BC. They're teenagers, a trio. They saw the warning on YouTube, and they were already musicians, I think. And they got really inspired, and they ended up joining together and making a band.
Well, good for
And
them.
they've got some videos out, and I'm going to do a reaction to them. And I love to support up and coming, up and rising, new bands that are playing not just
Yeah.
prog, but hard rock, rock, metal,
Yeah.
prog metal, any of that music, which to me is it's like life. I just adore all guitar based music and all that. And
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So anybody else there want to make any more comments? Because we're going to wrap it up. I'd say we'll just a couple more minutes. We'll keep it going.
Aki says, I'm just hearing.
Oh,
Oh, maybe he can't see us. Maybe he's just listening.
oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe he can't type in something, or oh, he did type something in though.
Hmm. That's okay. Maybe he's just here to listen.
Sure. Oh, that's probably what he's saying. He's just here to listen. Okay. So this stream will go live, not live. It'll go back pre-recorded. It'll be available soon, along with the chats. Just a reminder that this is just the first of a regular series I'm going to be doing all the time, live chats. And I appreciate Jen, you're coming onto the channel with us,
Sure.
and I'm sure we'll have you back, and Louis as well. He was going to be here, but he couldn't make it. So
I can't wait to hear Louis's memorable musical experiences. Maybe you can do
yes,
the same topic with him.
we'll do it for sure. And if not, at least I'll ask him. So we can even it out and know what he did. So okay, so thanks for everybody who watched, and the stream will be available recorded after this. And if you have ideas for the next live stream,
Yeah.
leave them. Yeah, comment below, leave ideas, because this was, of course, Jen's idea. It was her memorable musical experiences. I'm sure there's a load of other kinds of topics we can think of all together, and get some different guests on, and have Jen back too, but we'll have lots of different guests. Yeah. So have a great day, everybody. Jen, thanks for this again. Thank you,
You're welcome.
everybody. And we'll just sign it off and spiraling out. Talk to you all later.